G'day there guys, it's almost April again and I can use the introduction, who needs an April Fool's joke when I'm the only joke? Ha ha ha! It's your main man Markee and welcome back to another episode of me screwing up introductions. Actually, it's r/AmiTheA. Sorry. Sit back, relax, chuck a prawn of the Barbie, smash the like button on this video, and get ready for a good time. Thank you. Posted by user Princess Y Throwaway. Titled, Am I the a-hole for hiring a nanny to babysit my siblings instead of babysitting them myself without telling my mum? Throwaway, obviously. So I, female 16, am in charge of babysitting my siblings, female 2, male 3, some days while my mum goes out. This past Friday, they stayed with me as usual, and everything was okay until I started feeling unwell out of nowhere. I waited for some time, but I was definitely not feeling better, and there was no way I could take good care of my siblings. It was really bad. I tried to call my mom a few times, but she didn't answer, and I didn't know what to do. I ended up calling their nanny. She used to stay with my siblings every day. They were here last year, and has stayed with them lots this year too. She has been following the rules of the pandemic perfectly, and I paid her with my own money. My mum came home a few hours later, and when she found out that I wasn't the one babysitting them, she was raging. I was laying in my bed and she came to my room screaming about how irresponsible and lazy I had been. I tried to explain to her that I wasn't okay, but she said that she didn't care. I am now punished, and she's super mad at me, and I really don't know if I was wrong. Like, I get that it was my responsibility, but also, I really couldn't do it. Quick update. Hi, I'm alive. Someone from here convinced me to call someone last night, and I ended up having an emergency appendix surgery at like 3 a.m. I'm still really tired, but I got lots of replies here, and I'll try to reply to everything later. I'm truly sorry to have bothered everyone. I can understand your mother being angry in the moment. Like, damn, she really chose not to babysit and be lazy because of this supposed illness? But after seeing you writhing in pain in your room and understanding why you did what you did out of your own pockets, if she's a sane and reasonable woman, she hopefully understood what was going on and changed her behavior accordingly. If not, then I'm sorry she does that to you, but rest assured you're not the a-hole for this one. Sometimes your appendix just plays up and that can potentially kill you if not sorted out straight away. Thank God you got that surgery. I'm voting not the a-hole. Now in the comments, BNHA is a one-punch 100 says, not the a-hole. What kind of mother puts her 16-year-old in charge of 2 toddlers and doesn't check her phone enough to realize she missed several calls until after she returned home? That's just irresponsible. And OP replies, she didn't see my text telling her about the nanny either. Hey OP, it's your mum's job to care for your siblings and for you too. You are also her child. She is failing at being a parent, you are not failing at being a good enough human. Source, I'm a mum who goes out sometimes, or I did prior to March 2020. You definitely are not the a-hole. You tried to ring your mum and she didn't answer. You put the safety of your siblings first when you weren't feeling great. You got in someone they know and are familiar with, and you paid with your own money. Your mum is the a-hole, especially for not caring how you were after you tried to tell her that you were ill. And OP replies, nah, she's always like that, but I guess I kinda see her point. But I swear I just couldn't do it, and I did what I thought was best. OP, your mum has no point, except maybe the top of her head? You're a kid. It's not your job to provide childcare. It's your mum's. What would have happened if your illness turned serious and you were incapacitated or went unconscious? Your mum failed to acknowledge your attempts to reach her, which would have left the 2 kids on their own. And OP replies, it really hurts if I move, so I know that I couldn't do it, especially since they have a lot of energy. But I don't know. I just feel like I did something bad. I don't know. I'm sorry. You feel guilty because your mum is making you feel that way. But we, united strangers of the internet, are telling you that this is not normal and your mum is irresponsible, unfair, neglecting, abusive. Check parentification, especially, and I am sure many more. Your reaction was good. A normal mum would at least thank you and pay the nanny herself. This proves that something is absolutely wrong with her and you should not trust her at all. And OP replies, "Oh, I really don't trust her, or try not to." And Burnt Cucumber XYZ says, "Not the a-hole. Why exactly was your mum upset? You did the best you could. You tried to contact her, then you tried a trusted nanny with your own money. You seem really responsible." And OP replies, "She's upset since that day it was my responsibility to babysit them." Sure, but you went above and beyond to make sure your siblings were still cared for. You have to take care of yourself as well. Your mum should be concerned about you not feeling well. And OP replies, "She's upset at me not feeling well, and the kids will stay with the nanny for a few days starting tomorrow." And now on to the update. First of all, thank you to everyone that reached out and was nice with me. My appendix ruptured, but I'm doing okay, I guess. Recovery is super painful though. I followed the advice of some of you and told my sibling's dad what was going on, and he'll have a talk with mum. I didn't call CPS though. I can't do that. I also followed everyone's advice and am currently staying at a safe place with my girlfriend and her family until I get better. Mum has not visited. We talked on the phone and I only got more punishment, but, well, at least I got to solve everything else, I guess. Edit to add, I have a doctor's appointment this Friday, and I plan to talk with them about what's going on. I'll probably update everyone on Saturday if anyone cares. I'll also try to reply to everything, and you can always private message me if you need something too. Also, I found out that the nanny told my mum that she was with me and got ignored. She still has the messages. And hi. I don't know if anyone is seeing this, but my appointment went okay. It'll take a long time until I fully recover though. One of the nurses asked me a few questions as she had noticed a few things and told me that she had to call CPS. Apparently my insurance also covers therapy or something like that. I'm even more scared than I was before, to be honest. Now in the comments, Fan Academic says, "OP, I would be so proud to have you as my child. You've been brave, mature, and beyond reproach through and through. You didn't let your mum down. You didn't let your siblings down, and yet you're being punished, which is wholly unfair. You've done literally the best any human could in this type of situation. Now you need to protect and take care of yourself. Listen to the people here and seek help." Flying Captain Smash says, "Glad you're doing better. Appendicitis is no joke, and your mother should be ashamed of herself for how she's been acting. I would not go back if I were you." And OP replies, "I really don't want to go back. I can't even with your mother. She's mad because you got help with her children when you were sick, and she's punishing you for getting medical care when your appendix burst? You did the best you could when you were sick as hell. Not the a-hole. Honestly, you're getting better parenting and advice from Reddit." And OP replied, "It's literally people from here that convinced me to go to the ER." So what do you guys think about this one? I feel like it's a good ending, but I don't know if OP is in any better of a place now as a result of it. I'm just glad they're alive, and I'm sending my well wishes to OP, and I hope that things do get better. Our next post is by user Little19390, titled, "Am I the a-hole for refusing to apologize to a coworker over an Xbox? I work in a toy store in the gaming department. My sister asked me if I could get an Xbox Series X for my nephew for Christmas. I explained that they were sold on a first-come, first-served basis, even to staff, but I would try and get one. Last week, I rang the store to see if there was an Xbox in on delivery. My manager, Jack, said that there was one left. I said I would try and get there before it goes. Jack offered to hold it for me until I started my shift later that day. He told my colleague George over the radio not to sell it, and I heard George acknowledge it. I arrive a couple of hours later for my shift and ask George to put through the Xbox. He tells me that he's already called his friend who wants one, that he can buy the one that's left, and he's waiting outside. I tell him it had been held for me, which he knew about, and regardless, it's first come first serve, and I was here first. George then gets aggressive and angry, and refuses to serve me, and starts talking on the phone to his mate. He then tried to guilt-trip me by saying it's for his mate's son. I tell him it's for my nephew, and he gets angrier. I call Jack down and explain. Jack tells George to go on his break, to which George gets in my manager's face. Jack tells him to leave for his break or he'll send him home for threatening behavior. George leaves whilst calling me an effing tramp. George hasn't spoken to me since. On the day this happened, I was so upset that I couldn't work on my department with him, and I spent most of my shift crying because of the name-calling and snide comments I'd been getting off him. I spoke to another co-worker, Sarah, about it, because I didn't know what to do. She told me George had been saying that I had been aggressive and intimidating him, and that I should apologize to him. No one believes his story, as there were multiple witnesses to the incident. Am I the a-hole for not apologizing? I don't believe I did anything wrong. He's the one continuing to ignore me, make snide comments, and call me names when he thinks that I can't hear. I really don't want to fall out over an Xbox, and I know it sounds petty, but I'm not going to feel guilty for buying the Xbox or for not apologizing when I haven't done anything wrong. I'm kinda scared to work alone with him now because I don't know what he's going to be like. I think this George guy is an insanely aggressive asshole over an Xbox. It's not even his, it's for his mate. He's willing to risk his job and his reputation to secure an Xbox for his mate? Is he really that low? That's just embarrassing. You're not the a-hole here, OP. He knew that it was saved for you, and now he's being a toxic piece of garbage to try and take it for himself. He's not fooling anyone or impressing anyone with that attitude. Not the a-hole. Now, the OP has left an edit at the end of their post and says, and edit, after posting this, I immediately came off here because I was so worried I was going to be called the a-hole in this situation. Thank you to everyone so much for your comments and advice. I have a day off today, but I'm scheduled in tomorrow, so I'm gonna speak to Jack then. Honestly, it didn't even occur to me that what George is doing is harassment or bullying, and I don't know why, but until you guys pointed it out, I didn't think about it like that. Thank you guys so much for your help and advice. I will post an update in a few days and see what happens. Now in the comments, Wardog008 says, not the a-hole. George agreed to hold it for you, and sounds like a total wanker. Frankly, I would have fired him on the spot if I was in the manager's shoes. Nope. Jack the manager agreed to hold the Xbox for OP and instructed his subordinate George to hold it. George acknowledged the order over radio. George then decided to be a nozzle and call his mate. Yup. And by acknowledging the order, George should have known not to try giving it to someone else. That combined with the first in first served thing, and the fact that OP got there before his friend did, and his whole reaction only just shows how much of an a-hole he is. I guess it's true that any kind of relationship, platonic, friendship, romantic in the workplace is not a good idea. Friend refers friend to a job, and everything goes to crap. And the next thing you know, your work reputation is in tatters. Not the a-hole. You said it yourself. It's being sold on a first-come, first-served basis. You came first. He knew that it was being held for you, but he called his friend anyway. You don't need to apologize to him, he needs to apologize to you. Also, threatening a fellow co-worker in front of a manager, and then threatening the manager, George doesn't seem to be the sharpest tool in the shed. Not the a-hole. This sounds like an episode of How to Lose Your Job Over Something Stupid During a Pandemic by Risking Favors for Buddies. Am I the only one who read the guy threatened his own boss physically? Guy would have been lucky to just be let go. Not the a-hole. File a complaint with HR over his behavior then, and his continued behavior, and that he's making you afraid to come to work because of his aggressive behavior, and that you're worried he'll try something. All of that is true and believable based on what you've said. If they refuse to do something, go above their heads to corporate, or owner if it's a locally owned place. This whole thing is a lawsuit waiting to happen. And now on to the update. I know it's been a while since my post, but I wanted to be able to give the full update. I spoke to Jack and he told me George had come to him a week or so after the incident and apologized. He said he overreacted to him and shouldn't have done what he did to him. Jack accepted his apology, however, because it was aggressive behavior, he did get a note on his file. George accepted the punishment and they both agreed to put it behind them. After getting all of the responses I did, I said to Jack that George's behavior could be considered bullying, and he agreed. So he said he would speak to my other co-worker Sarah, as she was witness to his behavior. I don't know how that meeting went, as me and Sarah haven't worked on shift together, but from what happened on Christmas Eve, I assume she spoke up for me. Me and George were scheduled to work Christmas Eve together. It didn't bother me. I knew we would be busy, so we would barely have time to speak to each other. I started before George to prep for opening, and he was starting when the store opened. He arrived a bit early like normal, and he had a massive gift bag with him. He came straight up to me, held out the gift bag, and gave a huge apology speech. I cried, he cried, and we hugged it out. He bought me a bottle of Prosecco, chocolates, and various other stuff. I genuinely believed he was sorry. He said he was out of order and he is disgusted with himself for how he treated me, and he didn't speak to me because he was embarrassed and scared that he had lost me as a friend. I believe he is truly sorry. We've decided to draw a line under it and have been getting on really well since. It's like how we used to be. I want to thank everyone for your advice and guidance. I don't think I would have gotten this resolution if it wasn't for this sub. Thank you all so much. However, thanks to the pandemic, both myself and George are furloughed along with a lot of other staff, so we're now currently not working for the foreseeable future, which I'm gutted about, but I'm thankful I'm still employed and everything at work is, hopefully, gonna be fine. Now in the comments, Team Chaos 17 says, I'm glad you feel like you can draw a line under this incident, but yo, George physically threatened your manager. That's not normal behavior, but buying presents is a technique that abusive people use after a blow-up. I'd forgive, but not forget, and I'm glad that this is in his file at work. And OP replied, I think there are other issues with him outside of work. It doesn't excuse it, but I'm hoping now we've been furloughed, he's going to use this time to get all of his crap sorted and come back. Whenever we come back, he'll be better for it. I'm deciding to draw a line under it, to just be an adult about it, but if this happens again, it'll be a different story, I think. Sorry about the furlough, that really sucks. But yeah, like I said, forgive but don't forget. And it sounds like you aren't, and hopefully he gets his issues outside of work sorted. Or at the bare minimum, realizes work means putting aside those issues while on the clock. And OP replies, yeah, it sucks, but to be honest, after the Christmas we've had at work, I'm glad to have some time off. I hope he does too. I want to support him as much as I can through whatever issues he's having. He's helped me a lot over the past couple of years. I'm honestly surprised George wasn't immediately fired, threatening a manager and bullying a co-worker, and all he gets is a note in his file? And OP replies, that's retail for ya. They took into consideration that overall he's a good worker and great with the customers, and even though he didn't immediately apologize to me, he did apologize to Jack. And it was around Christmas and we needed the staff. Am I the only one who suspects George's mate is imaginary? Don't know why, but George's out of proportion reaction makes me believe he wanted the Xbox for himself. Either way, not the a-hole. And OP replies, it's possible, but I know George already had an Xbox because he got a pre-order. I honestly think he has other stuff going on outside of work, and everything just got to him. It doesn't excuse it, but I think there's something else going on. What do you guys think? Do you guys think there's something else going on, or do you think this is George just trying to get out of the situation easily? Love to know your thoughts down in the comments below. Alright guys, I think that's where I'm going to end today's video. If you need a good laugh, please do check out my second channel, Markee 2, links down in the description below, or it's going to appear somewhere on the screen here at the end, little bubble with my face on it. As always, a big shout out to my Patreon and channel members. Your faces are surrounding me right now, and I love to have you guys with me, and down in the comment sections of each and every video, and just knowing that you're always there to support me. It's a humbling and lovely feeling. And rest assured, I do see you, and I do notice your support, and I thank you every day for being here and helping me along this journey. Not much else to say besides that, guys. Thank you for sticking around to the end of the video. I do hope that you have a good day, night, sleep, whatever you're up to. I will see you in the next video, and thank you again. Bye.